Georgia. Happy Saturday. I know this morning, if you looked outside, it didn't look like the most sunniest scene. We did have a gloomy start to today, but I do have at least some good news for the forecast. We're not looking at any severe weather, so we're just going to take an extended look at the forecast for the rest of today, what to expect for tomorrow, especially as this is the official last weekend of July, which sounds so crazy. It seemed like July 4th was not too long ago, and we do have some heat coming back for the following week, especially towards the beginning of the week. So I'm going to take this full and we'll have a bigger picture and look at what we have in store for the forecast for today. So I'm going to go ahead and take us full, and overall this morning, thankfully some of the cloud cover is starting to clear up. We had such a gloomy scene and lots of cloud cover present last night. So temperatures didn't dip down too much. So you may have noticed as you walked out the door this morning that it does feel muggy, but it also feels a lot warmer. So temperatures overall were in the mid to upper 70s. Currently right now in Warner Robins, it's 84, but it feels like 91. And we still have some of those heat indices in play for the weekend. Overall, a big view of the United States. Most of the region will be in quite the amount of heat. And even though we are not under some record-breaking heat this weekend, many places out to the west and especially across the southeast may be experiencing some triple-digit heat. We might see a few today, but we're not looking at any record-breaking for the weekend in particular. Overall, places in the northeast are still feeling a little bit cooler. I think the coolest spot overall is in Virginia Beach with 69 degrees, warmer spots down in Orlando at 90. Across the southeast, you can kind of depict where that stationary front is across areas of Tennessee, northern parts of Georgia, Alabama, the Carolinas, and you can kind of tell where it stops, just right about to where our northern counties hit. So if you may have noticed this morning, if you lived in places like Jasper, Putnam, Hancock, it might have been a little bit cooler due to some light showers that dipped down from the stationary front this morning. Overall, a closer look on some of those temperatures. We are already in the low 80s. Most of our southern counties are a bit warmer due to not having some showers earlier this morning, but at least our northern counties are starting to catch up. 79 degrees in Monticello and Sandersville, and overall, I think the warmest spot will be in McRae and Vidalia at 88. As we go throughout the day, we'll have a nice breeze. Hopefully this can kind of cool us off today. Winds are coming out of the northwest, and they'll continue to be like that as we go throughout the afternoon and evening. But something that is very, very evident is the moisture content as you step outside. It's something that us meteorologists really like to call the air you can wear outside. So dew points, as you know, once they hit those mid and upper 70s, that's where they can become really oppressive, and especially in places like Dublin that are nearing that 80 for a dew point value. That's when you can really feel the heat when it comes to those feels like temperatures. So overall today, we do have another day of some heat, not as hot as we've seen like the last couple of weeks in July, where heat indices were at 105, 107, even some places earlier this month had heat indices of around 110 and even 112. We won't see that today. We'll see the low 100s, like 101, 2, but overall, a couple of places to our northern counties don't feel as hot due to some of those showers and storms. So overall, feels like temperatures are ranging within the mid to upper 80s, some 90s, 93 in Macon. It feels like 94 in Dublin, but it feels like 100 in Unadilla, Vidalia, and 101 in Americus. Yet again, those heat indices today could be in the mid to upper 90s. You could catch a brief cool period due to some showers and storms this afternoon and evening. And that's really what it is. That summertime pattern just really sticks with us for the rest of the weekend. We stay nice and hot, muggy. Now, everyone might have the possibility of seeing a shower or storm today. but that scattered chance is there due to that front. So the main things we'll talk about is a few showers and storms, and we'll take a look at the future view. We're not super, Carmen and I were having a great time this morning. A not super crazy hot day today and tomorrow. It still will feel like it, but you'll really feel the heat as we start the following work week. So we've been below average in temperatures for the last couple of weeks, especially last week and this week, but we'll start to see some of the heat kick back in for the following week. Overall surface map will show us kind of the scenario of which we were talking about, like a stalled front, a stationary front with a low pressure system just northeast of us. And this stretches across at least portions of the Atlantic, down the Carolinas. It was stalled up closer to North Georgia yesterday, and we'll take a look at some of those North Georgia totals that they received in rainfall yesterday. I was up there visiting family for the last couple of days, and man, if I could describe just absolute washout scenario that North Georgia received yesterday, there was flash flood warnings in a couple of places since there was some really heavy rainfall rates of up to about at least 4 or 5 inches in a couple of spots. But the stationary front stretches out to the Midwest. We do have some high pressure and some low pressures across other portions of the US. But the main idea for showers and storms today and tomorrow is really this stationary front starting to sag down to our south and then completely move out by Monday. So this graphic takes just a second to load, but the 24-hour rain totals yesterday across all of Georgia, and you'll see the concentration that there is up in North Georgia compared to the concentration in Central Georgia. Most spots didn't really even see any rain yesterday. And hopefully this graphic will load. Sometimes the 24-hour totals take a couple of seconds to load. Let's see if it'll decide it wants to load. There we go. So you can definitely see some of the showers and storms that occurred in North Georgia yesterday and where that front really stalled out. And then if we zoom in on some of the places that received some of the highest rain totals, we saw areas of 5.7 inches, 4.8, 5 inches, and then most spots either saw some light sprinkles of just under an inch and still at least a good majority of just north of the Atlanta metro area receiving 1 to 2 inches of rain. But that was definitely a different scenario. If we come down to Central Georgia, we didn't really receive much rain in the last 24 hours. The portion of the front that did decide to come and move down, especially winds coming out of the northwest, did give a few spots some sprinkles, but overall we'll have a better chance of seeing some more showers and storms this evening and then tomorrow evening. So that's where the front lays currently, and we had a couple of showers this morning, but overall the most that we did see this morning was just some light showers. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of play the last, hopefully this will play out the last 4 hours. Some of that front kind of dipped down a little bit. So places like Jasper, Putnam, some portions of Jones, Baldwin, and Hancock, Washington, Wilkinson, y'all may receive some light, maybe steady showers this morning. But what we'll really see is what we're seeing right now in just near Unadilla and portions of Macon, and we'll steadily go into Dooley County, but isolated and scattered showers and storms throughout the afternoon and evening. So the depiction looks pretty clear, and it looks like the graph is initializing as well throughout the morning as what we're currently seeing. We'll stay mostly dry throughout the morning with the possibility of some light sprinkles, and then cloud cover will give way just a little bit. So the gloomy scene won't stick around the entire day. We'll have peaks of sunshine throughout the day, but then in the afternoon and evening, you could catch one of these isolated showers or storms. And this model run actually shows it a little bit less than the model runs I saw earlier today. Oh, and especially that for Sunday. So I think this is definitely a new model run. So as we go through the afternoon and evening, a batch of showers and storms still could be expected as the front starts to dip down a little bit. So not everybody will have a chance to see showers and storms, but there is a better possibility today. And with this new model run, it's definitely showing a lot more than it did earlier this morning. So it's looking like we'll see greater chances today, especially with some really heavy rain as we go into Sunday. So with a new run, always we take a look at previous runs and new runs to make sure that it's trying to depict where the front is correctly and how fast the front will be moving down as we go throughout the weekend. Sunday, very similar situation. We start the day a little bit gloomy. We'll see some sunshine, but then showers and storms still expected throughout the day. And they will really start to fire up within the early afternoon and then into the evening. It looks like today we'll see a little bit more coverage, but with this latest run, it is displaying a lot more rain than we saw in the shows earlier this morning. So you might want to have the rain gear in handy with you for portions of today and tomorrow. And then we almost have a completely different scene to kick off the work week where we may not receive any rain at all. I went ahead and I bumped the rain chance down to 10% in case we saw a sprinkle, or depending on how fast this front tends to move out, if it does kind of linger a little bit. But for the most part, most of all of the runs that I've seen this morning has us staying mostly dry. Yet again, we could possibly receive some of these sprinkles right here if it doesn't move out as fast as it's thinking it's going to move. But overall, I think Monday will be a really dry day. And until we get the rest of the short range for Tuesday, it looks like Tuesday will also be very similar. And I'll show that on the long range view where that front moves out. And you can see it looks like we start nice and dry and we stay mainly dry. But the kicker is we do have another front that'll move in on Wednesday to Thursday. So depending on that timing, when it moves in, it could be later in the day or earlier, then it will bump the rain chances even more, especially when we catch that on Futureview. And it's still looking a little bit back and forth with what we could see for the weekend. So a little too far out for next weekend, but I do have at least a certainty that Monday and Tuesday will be nice and dry and we can enjoy the outdoors. The really great thing about the second front that we'll receive next week on Wednesday to Thursday, it'll drop down our humidity. So very muggy today, really oppressive. As we go throughout the weekend and the beginning of the week, as this front moves out, it will bring us some dry air behind it. But with that second front moving out, it will definitely dip us down to very comfortable to very dry levels, something we have not seen in quite a while here in Central Georgia. It has been super muggy, very oppressive. So definitely something to look forward to as we head into next week, but something we do need to pay attention to is the heat, because with the dry air and also temperatures going up, not as much rainfall, the heat does come back into play. So far in the month of July, we are kind of split in half. So below average temperatures, there's been 9 days that have been recorded and then 9 days that have been above average. Still, our hottest day of the entire year was on July 4th, where we hit 97 degrees from the Macon Regional Airport. There's a couple of days that the system was down, so we weren't able to receive most of them, but we were around average and below average for that week. So as we head into the following week, I do anticipate us really filling this last column out with some red boxes. And I'll show you some of the afternoon highs for the rest of the weekend and at least the start of next week. So today, tomorrow, very much a copy and paste forecast with the humidity, low 90s, feels like temperatures in the mid to upper 90s, and yet again, some 100s, 101s, some low triple digits. As we go into Monday, then we start to see the increase in temperatures. 94 on Monday, 96 on Tuesday and Wednesday. And this is actually the lower range of the models. I was taking a look at some of them, and the graph has, at least by midweek, being in the upper 90s. There was 102 for Wednesday for the graph. So since we really haven't even hit our 100-degree day yet, and with the trending of our systems and fronts, I think we'll be in the mid to upper 90s by midweek next week. And the Climate Prediction Center does agree with that. We have some above normal temperatures in store for us for the end of July, heading into August. So it looks like it will be a hot one for sure. Our first 100-degree day, the earliest it has ever happened here, has been in May, so May 26th. The average is typically around July 2nd, and we're already way past that, about almost a whole month. Today's July 25th, and the latest it has ever happened has been September 18th. So it's definitely something that we'll be keeping our eyes on for sure as we go into the end of this month and start the month of August. Feels like temperatures, especially with a lot of the moisture that we do have present right now, still today will feel like the mid to upper 90s, triple digits in some spots, but you could receive a couple of showers and storms that give you at least the relief from the heat. By tomorrow morning, we'll be a little bit warmer. A lot of that cloud cover has kept our temperatures in the mid to upper 70s, so same thing could be expected for tomorrow. And then we really start to see the heat start to increase. Feels like temperatures around 103 can be expected for tomorrow evening. And then you see the mornings get a little bit warmer, around the mid to upper 70s for Monday morning. And this graphic updated, but I'll take us back to around the afternoon. It looks like triple digit heat will be seen again. And we'll continue to see that for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Since the graph does not go out completely until Wednesday, there is the possibility of us receiving some heat advisory criterias for Tuesday and Wednesday. So temperatures will be probably the main story as we head into the following week. But for the rest of this weekend, we are not anticipating any severe weather, which feels like a miracle. It's like the first weekend that we haven't seen possibly a severe thunderstorm warning. But overall, we're just looking at some basic showers and storms. We're not outlined in any outlooks, so we're not outlined in any storm prediction level 1s or anything, but something to keep in mind as we do go into the rest of today, as since we are in the summertime, we could still receive some really gusty winds, heavy rainfall, and the possibility of the storm being a little bit stronger is there. It just looks like right now we're not outlined in anything severe. And since we just went through our second named storm of the season, we've officially crossed out 2 names. So Tropical Storm Arthur and then Tropical Storm Bertha. The next name would be Cristobal. And right now, just taking a look at our tropics, it looks like we're pretty quiet. So overall in the Gulf, we're seeing no signs of any developments. And as we look into the Atlantic, there's no activity expected in the next 7 days. And you can really see the reason why. There's lots of Saharan dust pushing its way into the Atlantic right off the west coast of Africa. And that does limit a lot of the possibility for the tropics to even start to develop. So it helps with the storms from even coming together, and especially with wind shear, and because it's some really dry air, it does help with in terms of anything else developing in the tropics. Sorry, I'm having a hard time with my words today. But overall, really great news. So nothing to worry about in the tropics, but we are in tropic season, so we always definitely want to check in. For today, still very copy and paste scenario today and tomorrow. That stalled front will come down, spark up some showers and storms today and tomorrow. We're not in any outlines right now, but don't be surprised if some of them have some really gusty winds of 30, 40 miles per hour. Still, the criteria of a severe thunderstorm warning is around 60 miles per hour. So sometimes the National Weather Service will put out some statements for some storms with some really gusty winds of around 40 to 50, but that's also something very common for us here in central Georgia. Overall, we're looking like it's a great weekend. We won't be complete washout. Temperatures will be in the low 90s, but it still will feel like the mid to upper 90s. So if you're spending time outdoors, maybe have the umbrella with you just in case, but not everybody will see rain. There'll be periods of dryness, sunshine, and then you'll really feel the heat. So you'll want to make sure that you're hydrating as we go throughout the rest of the weekend. But yet again, that change happens. We kick off next week nice and dry. That front moves out, gives us a brief period of almost complete dryness. And then we do have another front that moves in and will bring us some drier air to end off the following week. Overall temperatures will start to increase by Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Feels like temperatures will be well into the triple digits, and that's we'll consider some heat advisories from the National Weather Service to kick off the following week, and then come back down to a very average and normal pattern for this time of year. So no big changes in the forecast so far, just something to keep our eye on for next week, especially as we're ending summer and the kids taking advantage of spending time outdoors, hanging out with friends, preparing them for school. It's definitely something you just want to consider with the heat and going out to the pool and enjoying it so far. So no big changes at all. Maybe just have the umbrella handy with you for the rest of today in case you do get caught under one of these showers or storms. Not everyone may see it. You may see it, but the next neighborhood may not. And it's just a very typical summertime pattern that we do see here in Central Georgia. Overall, I hope you have a great rest of your Saturday. Meteorologist Braylon Hardy will be here tonight for your evening forecast for the 6th and the 11th, and I will be back here tomorrow morning for the show at 7 a.m. and we'll also have another extended stream taking a deeper look, especially at those temperatures as we head into Wednesday and Thursday, and we'll have a better look at rain chances for the following week as well. So I hope you have a happy and great Saturday, and I'll leave the 7-day up for you since we don't have many things on the radar so far.